we were having load shedding here, so I had to connect via my phone, and then somebody tried to call me and all that stuff. Okay, back onto our Quran section بإذن الله تعالى. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين. صدق الله العظيم. Let's see where we get to the surah today بإذن ta'ala. If at any point in time you have a question or anything like that, again, as before, feel free to send me a message. Send me a message in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and speak بإذن ta'ala. Right. So we did up until the end of the verse number 4. Right? We said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a string of oaths. وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ وَطُورِ سِينِينَ وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينَ. We offered a number of different interpretations for what these verses means, or what they refer to. One of those interpretations was that they referred to places of revelation, right? The places in which revelation took place, referring to Watini, the Mount Judi, was Zaytun, Palestine, Waturi Sinin, the Sinai mountain, وهذا البلد الأمين, Mecca. Right. We said those oaths were taken to assert the importance of the sentence that comes after that. And that is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We did the translation of that verse, right? No, I'm not sure. Am I here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what did it mean? لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا. Certainly we have created. We referring to Allah in the with the royal pronoun, right? لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ. Certainly we have created mankind في أحسن تقويم, in أحسن, the best and most beautiful of forms. Yeah, I want to point out something. The word أحسن comes from the word حسن, or yeah, from the word حسن or حسن. Z, you have a hand up. Bismillah. Z, his hand is up. Do you want to say something? You may speak. Okay, whenever you want to, you can just unmute yourself and then speak with Allah Ta'ala. Right, so ahsan means either, hasan can mean something that's good, like moral goodness, or it can also refer to beauty. Like we say, as Muslims, we must strive to do ihsan. Ihsan means to beautify things, to do good and to do beautiful things. That's actually something very important. It's a very important concept, because I don't know what your personal experiences were, but one of the profound experience or interaction that I had in my life, I had a friend who was not a Muslim. He was actually a Boer from Namibia. He was with me at campus, and he was a very interesting fellow, very intrigued by everything Islamic. Though I never overtly gave him dawah or anything like that, he would ask me a lot of things about Islam just because, I don't know, probably he saw me with a beard, or I used to sometimes go to campus with a top or something like that. But one day he asked me about, he was asking me about music and stuff like that, and art and stuff like that. And one thing he said was very profound for me, or not profound, but it just made me think about how we portray our Islam. And he asked me, it seems that everything that is aesthetically pleasing and beautiful is like prohibited for you guys. So then I told him, no, that's not the case. That's very, very far from the case, actually. However, what is prohibited for us are those things that don't have meaning, that are frivolous. So when we engage in song, then it's most of the time to take us closer to Allah, to remind us of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we have art, I mean, if you've seen art in the Islamic world or Islamic art, it's staggeringly beautiful. But oftentimes, most of the time, it has the purpose of reminding you of something related to Deen or Allah, etc. And that principle comes from somewhere. I'm not going to get into that because our discussion is not on beauty and art. But just in terms of understanding this verse, what is Allah saying? We have created mankind in the most beautiful and the best of forms. The word ahsan can at once mean beautiful and best. Right. Now, what does this mean? Does it mean that Allah made us the most physically beautiful? Is that what it means? So on one level, if we look at it on the literal level, then we'd say yes. Allah is telling us that in terms of form, that He created us in the best of forms. But best in that sense, you may think it's a subjective thing. Like I look at one human being and another human being, one may be more appealing to me than another. But in general, human beings find human beings most attractive unless they have some kind of mental derangement or something like that. However, the Mufassirin have also offered, specifically one that I like to refer to, Shaykh Tahir ibn Ashur. He says that, you see, if it were that Allah were just simply asserting that we were most physically beautiful, then that would be obvious to us. There would be no need to take oaths to assert that. And on account of those oaths at the beginning of the surah, we understand therefrom that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking not just about physical beauty, but about our internal state. Right? About our internal state and our disposition. So what he has to say is that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to here is our fitrah. What is your fitrah? Your fitrah is your natural disposition as a human being. The most important component of that disposition is to recognize the existence of a higher power, right? That higher power that we call Allah. What other components are there to this fitrah of yours, this natural disposition of human beings? It is that we are naturally inclined to what benefits us and what benefits others. And we are naturally opposed to what harms us and harms others. Right? It's only on account of when sickness besets our hearts, when we are overtaken by greed or things like that, that we actually go against that universal principle of desiring goodness for ourselves and others, both in this dunya and the next life. For ourselves and for others, and repelling harm for ourselves and for others. And so he says that this is actually what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to. Allah is referring to that He created us in the best of internal states, such that we can recognize, we are naturally disposed to seek out the higher power, and we are naturally disposed to goodness. Then Allah says, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ. ثُمَّ, then, رَدَدْنَاهُ. The verb here is, this word is actually a verb. The verb is رَدَّ يَرُدُّ. رَدَّ يَرُدُّ. The root letters are Ra, Dal, and then Dal again. So instead of saying radada, we say radadna. Oh, sorry. Instead of saying radada, we say radda. But this is how the scale will sound. Radda, raddu, raddat, radadna. So there it breaks apart. Instead of saying, we would say raddat and then radadna. And then we go radadta, radattum, radatti, radattunna, radattu, radadna. And that's the one we have here. Who's the fa'il of radadna?
That who there.
Is that the fa'il?
No, it's the we. We, Maulana.
The we, the
The
na.
na. The na.
That's correct. The na,
It's
this
at
is
the
the
end.
fa'il. That's the fa'il. The who, what is this going to be?
Mutasil?
Yes, it's Damir Muttasil, but I heard someone else also say it's also the Maf'ulun bihi, correct. There we go. So what's it going to be now? Then we returned, Radda means to return, we returned him. Who's the him referring to? It's referring to this al-insaniya. It's referring to al-insan. Insan is a plural, but you generally use it when you want to refer to, the collection of individuals. When you want to refer to the collection of individuals. Like there's a number of plurals for human beings. You have al-insan and you also have an-nas. There's other ones as well. I'm not going to get into that now. But what's the difference between the two? When I want to refer to the whole bang lot, then I'd use an-nas. But when I want to refer to all of them, but as individuals, then I use al-insan. Right? And that's why we have this singular pronoun being used here. ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ. Then we returned him. Return him to what? أسفل سافلين. أسفل سافلين. Now, tell me what's happening here. What kind of word is this? Okay, mudaf, mudaf ilayh, that's good, yes. You can see now al no tanween, and this one here is in jar. It doesn't have a kasra, but because this is a plural, it's supposed to be una, and in nasb and jar it's ina. So mudaf, mudaf ilayh, good. What else can you tell me?
Is that Hamza there, is that a question?
No, that's actually good that you pointed out. Look at this. Look at the form of this word, asfala. I'm going to go back one slide. Ahsan. Looks similar? Ahsan, asfal.
Yes.
Similar, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What other word does it maybe sound similar to?
Afala?
Okay. Afalu. This one, I like to keep an example in mind. Doesn't it look similar to that as well? Akbar. What does akbar mean?
The greatest.
Not greatest?
Greater.
Greater. There we go. Only when it's definite, then it will mean greatest. Right?
Oh, but this is definite because of mudaf.
This is definite because it's a mudaf, right? Mudaf and mudafun ilayh. But there's no al, but it's still definite.
Yes.
Right. So now, what does the root letters sin, fa, and lam mean?
Is it low? Something about low.
It means to be low, yes. It means to be low. For something to be safil, something is low. So asfal will mean what? Because it's definite here, part of the mudaf, it will mean the lowest.
The lowest, yeah.
The lowest. And what will safilin mean? Okay. If I have the root
All
letters
the lowest.
Lowest of the
of the low ones, right? If you just look at this word, safil, replace the root letters with fa'in and lam. Safilun. If you replace it, it's going to be fa'ilun.
Yes.
So that means it's going to be a active particle, right? Like when I say nasara means to help, and nasirun will mean a helper. Safala means to be low. So a safil means a person or thing that is low. Safiluna, plural, those who are low. Safilina, the same thing but in halatul jar. So asfala safilin, the lowest of those who are low. Follow the meaning? So Allah says, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. Then we returned him, referring to the insan, أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ, to the lowest of those who are low. What does that mean? Yeah, this also indicates to us that what Allah is speaking about is not just physical beauty. Because physical beauty and the absence of physical beauty, they have nothing to do with being lowly. And so, because Allah juxtaposes ahsani taqweem with asfala safilin, we understand that this is not just referring to physical beauty, rather it's referring to internal exaltedness or lowliness in terms of like morality. Allah created human beings in the best of states, the most beautiful of states, and then He returned them to the lowest of the low. But did he return all of them to being lowest of the low? No, certainly not. So we understand a lesson from this. The first lesson that we understand from this is that it's within the potential of human beings to have the best of states, the best of states, even potentially better than angels. But when? Allah says He returned them to the lowest of the low, and then He makes an exception. Illa, except. Except tells us that sorry, just give me a second. I got a message here. Oopsie. Okay. I'm just I'll attend to that question in a bit, but let's just carry on. So Allah says, then He returned them to the lowest of the low. Illa, except who? Except alladhina amanu, except those who believed. Number one. Wa, and amilu salihati. Amila, amanu is a verb. What happened there? Aminu is a verb. That means to believe. Except those who aminu, they believed. It's a verb form that we haven't learned yet, right? So you're going to have to trust me that that's its meaning. Aminu, they believed. Wa, and amilu salihat. Amilu, you can see that's a verb. Amila, amilu. Amila means to do. What did they do? They did as-salihati. As-salihati is the plural of, you can see it's a feminine plural, right? Ati. It's a feminine plural of the word salihatun. Salihatun. Salihatun means a good deed or pious deed or righteous deed. Right? So salihat means good deeds. However, just to give you a better understanding of this word salihah or a good deed, it doesn't just mean piety. In the understanding of the words, when something is salih for another thing, it means that it's suitable, that it's appropriate. Right? Because you can see Allah's not speaking about a specific good deed, about fasting, about giving charity. Allah doesn't mention any specifics. He just says salihat. What are those? Those are appropriate actions. Like, for example, sometimes I can do a deed that's seemingly good, but if I do it in the wrong time and place, it actually has negative outcomes. Maybe I want to give somebody nasiha, but if I do it in public, then I'm actually going to belittle them. So it may have been, in terms of outward form, a good deed, but because I place it in the wrong place and time, now it's not actually a salih action. It's not actually an appropriate thing to do. So Allah says, who are excluded from those who are taken to be the lowest of the low? Except those who believe and do righteous and appropriate deeds. Then what does Allah say about them? فَلَهُمْ So lahum, la, for whom, for them. So for them, who's the them? Those who believed and did the righteous deeds. For them is ajrun, a reward. What's the quality of this reward? What's the sifa of this reward? Ghayru. But the word ghayru never stands on its own. Ghayru mamnoonin. Ghayru mamnoonin. What that means is without end. فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونٍ. So they will have a reward that is without end. What I'm going to do is, like mamnoon, the word mamnoon can refer to like a death. So غَيْرُ مَمْنُون means without the death, without an end. So when we say those, except those who believed and did righteous deeds, for them will be a reward without end, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continuously bestow upon them goodness and grace and reward on account of the fact that they believed and did righteous deeds. Our time is up. We're going to finish this surah next week, inshallah, and then we're going to continue to Surah Al-Sharh, Alam Nashrah, which was started by Maulana Muhammad before the lockdown, but he just, I think, did the first verse or something like that. So we'll complete that surah next week. We'll complete this surah and then start on that one next week, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Before we end, are there any questions? Okay, what I'm going to do then is we'll end the class, and if anybody has any questions, you may then ask that. I'll stick around maybe for a few minutes. But we end it for now. Jazakumullahu khairan wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خير.
عليكم السلام
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Everybody,
جزاك
and
الله.
Maulana.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
I want to read the dua. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu
أشهد أن لا إله
إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.
نتوب إليه. ما شاء الله.
Ameen.
Allah.
Maulana, I've got a question.
Okay, Bismillah.
Can I ask a question?
Bismillah.
There's that word ghayru, and I see there's a word ghayril mahdubi. Is there the same word or not?
Same
Like
word.
ghayr-
That's the same word.
What do you call that word? Is it also negate like ghayril mahdub?
Yes. Word ghayri, right, means literally just means other than. And oftentimes we translate it as not.
Okay, but it's not like a harful jar.
It's not a harful jar, no.
Oh.
It's not a harful jar. What it is, though, is it's part of a group of words that never stand on its own. It will always have a mudafun ilay. Can you see? Actually, there are times when you use it definite, but when it's not definite, you'll see that the word has no al, no tanween. So most of the time, you're going to find it like that. Ghayri, ghayru, and then afterwards, we'll have a mudafun ilay. Ghayril maghdubi. You have ghayru mamnoonin. So that's something to note about that word. Mudafun ilayhi. But the mudafun ilayhi, they will not show position. Like for example, if I have kitabul waladi, means the book of the boy. Yeah, it's not going to show you position without or without of an end. No, it's just that word mamnoon, or the word mamnoon is just clarifying or qualifying غيري, without what? Without end.
Okay,
But
so
I'll touch on that again next week, inshallah.
inshallah. Okay, shukran, Maulana.
Afwan.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Assalam alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Maulana, I have not a question, but a suggestion potentially, please.
Bismillah.
Maulana, I have a quick question.
Okay, the other uncle can go first.
Bismillah.
Just Maulana, why is as-salihati in jar? I see you highlighted it. I don't think you touched on it. Is it to do with amilu?
I didn't. It's not in jar.
Oh, okay.
It looks like it's in jar, but it's in nasb actually. But that's an important question. Let's do that one in class next week.
Okay, no problem. Grand.
All right, Afwan.
Maulana?
Maulana?
Maulana, you must touch on the difference between nasb and jar because I joined
Okay.
late. Just want to make sure I understand
Okay.
those properly. I think I understand, but just to clarify. Okay.
I'll do that, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Irshad, bismillah.
Maulana, the thing I want to say is that with this kind of structure that we're doing through the current, like, I guess you could say, it's not really tafsir, but like the translation as we're going along, the issue personally I'm having is like keeping up with like making notes, because it's something that's new to me, trying to write down the terminology and all of that so that it's coherent when I come back the next time to try and read what's going on. I think what might be beneficial, if this is just a suggestion, but to have some prepared notes on the different surah that we're going through. So just like a basic structure of like the important points for that ayah, and perhaps like what hal each thing is in, or what it functions as in that sentence. Just so that as a starting point. This is just a suggestion, Maulana. I know it will be a lot of work, obviously, and there's definitely benefit in the way that you're going about doing it.
No, what I will do is I will obviously if I must go through the i'rab of every single word and I must type that out, that's going to take me
yeah, for sure, I understand.
But what I will do is there are resources where that's already done. There's tafsirs that focus just on i'rab.
Oh, okay.
So I'll direct you to that, inshallah.
That would be great, Maulana, because sometimes the issue I have is that I get caught up in writing down this mudaf ilay, all of that, and then I don't understand like the bigger picture of where things are fitting in. It's because I'm new to like taking notes in this kind of structure.
Yeah. All right.
A second. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Have a good weekend.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi as well. Okay, I need to be off now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have to leave and leave you. I hope that you all are well. And have a good weekend. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.